Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Michelle Fondin author vlog. This is vlog number 21. And today I'm going to be talking to you about, it's all about transcendence. All the things that you might be doing on your spiritual journey, whether you're doing chakra healing, yoga philosophy, yoga teacher training, or whether you're getting tarot readings and astrology readings, learning numerology, Reiki, past life regression, Akashic record readings, or any other thing that you might be doing to enhance your spiritual awakening journey. We're going to talk about the main goal today, which is transcendence. So if you're interested in learning more about how to transcend, please do stay tuned. If you are new to my channel, I want to welcome you here. Thank you for subscribing below. Click on the bell, scroll up to all for all notifications. And thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. I am here with my friends Grogu and Gudetama, two different types of Gudetama, Hawaiian and 10-year anniversary. In case you were new to this channel, I'm the author of 12 published books, and every vlog, or every week rather, I focus on one or two of my published books, and this week we are focusing on the 8 Limbs of Yoga for Modern Times, a practical guide to the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, and Chakra Healing for Vibrant Energy, exploring your 7 energy centers with mindfulness, yoga, and Ayurveda. I am here per usual with my Grogu tumbler with my Ticino Dandelion Caramel Nut Tea. It is so good. Now, before we start with our topic on It's All About Transcendence, a quick note. I attempted to do a live stream, an author Q&A or chat with the author Q&A this past Saturday. I had some technological problems. Now, we are still in Mercury retrograde until this weekend. So I was going to try it again this coming Tuesday, but I am changing that to the following Saturday after Thanksgiving at 9:30 a.m. Pacific and do the live stream then. It's a redo because I need to fix those audio problems. I kind of Googled on how to fix them. I had set everything up right, by the way. It's just something must have toggled off of the audio as I was going live. And since I really didn't have anyone giving me feedback, I didn't know. I was silent. I questioned it, but I wasn't quite sure. Anyway, Mercury retrograde, whatever. We're going to try again next Saturday, which is going to be that Saturday right after Thanksgiving, after Black Friday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time for Chat with the Author Live. Let's talk a little bit about transcendence. This is a topic that comes to me a lot because when I'm doing coaching sessions with clients, one-on-one coaching sessions, I do tarot readings and coaching. When I'm doing one-on-one coaching sessions with clients, of course, all of my clients are going through some sort of spiritual awakening, or they've been on a spiritual journey, or they're on a twin flame journey, which equals a spiritual awakening journey. Every single one of them is on some kind of spiritually awakened path. And so it comes to me through these clients that many of them are trying many different things to get to the point where they are feeling better. And when I say feeling better, it means more connected, more themselves, more in touch with their higher spiritual self, more in touch with God, spirit, source, universe, feeling more empowered. And that's really what we're talking about on this channel. It's how you can become more self-empowered in every way and connecting to your higher spiritual self, connecting to source, and being an amazing individual that doesn't need the opinions of others to validate you. I encounter so many people on this path through my coaching that need to understand that it's not about the methodology necessarily. You can try so many different things, and people do. Whether it's going through yoga and yoga philosophy, yoga teacher training, whether it's exploring the chakra system through the 7 chakras, chakra healing, Reiki healing, getting certified in many different healing modalities, or even if you're taking the more religious path, which I did in the beginning when I first spiritually awakened way back a long, long time ago. So when I had my first spiritual awakening that I am cognizant of, I was 17 years old. And I went through many different paths, but one of the paths that I tried to explore was diving deeper into Catholicism. So diving deeper into the religion in which I was raised. And so I began to become a more devout Catholic, a devout Christian. And I really began to study the scriptures more and more, attend church more, join Bible studies and church groups, because I thought at the time that that was my pathway to becoming more spiritual and to understanding my connection to God, source, and my higher self. So I didn't really understand that I could get there by myself. The only background I had was getting there through church. And so that's what I did. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, I want to emphasize to you that if you are trying so many different pathways and trying to heal yourself, feel better from the inside out, like you're really trying to feel better, but you're not sure exactly how to feel better or how to contact your higher source, your higher self. And so you're trying through many means to do so. I want to validate you right now that there is no wrong way to go about this. There's absolutely no wrong way to go about this. So if you're Jewish and you want to become a more devout Jewish person, then go ahead by all means. If you're a Christian and you want to become a more devout Christian, by all means, that's fine. And if you are searching for a path through self-realization and self-actualization, that's fine too. I think where people forget what they're doing here when it comes to the journey into self-realization or the journey into finding your higher spiritual self is they forget that the map is not the territory. So what does that mean? That's a quote that I first heard by Dr. Deepak Chopra way back when I started studying spirituality back in 2003. And I think it was even prior to that I had heard that quote. Because as I was healing through my thyroid cancer process, I had read Perfect Health by Dr. Deepak Chopra in 1999. So I had learned a lot about spirituality and awakening to your higher spiritual self before then, but I feel like I really began studying it more in 2003. Dr. Deepak Chopra said, the map is not the territory. You might be mistaking the map for the territory. How do we interpret that? What that means is, while there is no wrong path, I don't believe there's any wrong path. I believe that there are many paths that will lead you to transcendence. And what is transcendence? Transcendence is that elevated state of consciousness. So it's you as a person who is a spiritual being, who is recognizing that you are indeed a spiritual being, right? Having a human experience. And it's you realizing things at a more expanded level, at a higher level. And so the way it was explained to me back then, and when I was studying to become an Ayurvedic practitioner, yoga teacher, and meditation teacher, was that when we come here on Earth, we have a very expanded view. Our view is completely open. And that's why a newborn baby could pretty much learn any language at the time they are born. It's because they're wide open. So you could take a Russian baby and bring them to the United States, adopted by American English-speaking parents. And even though the baby's Russian, the baby will learn to speak English perfectly, like an American who learned and was born here. So babies are wide, wide open, and not only in languages, but in everything, in consciousness. But through social conditioning, through our education, through well-intending people in our lives, we take that wide open view and we begin to narrow it down. So we go from funnel vision to tunnel vision, and that is how we tend to live our lives. Well, the transcendence process is just opening that back up to the expanded levels of consciousness that you had when you were born. And that process can be easy or it can be really challenging. So that is the process of transcendence. And so when I say there's really no right path to get to that, there is no right path. There is the path that works for you. Seekers, spiritual seekers, mistake the map for the territory is when they feel that there is only one path to transcendence, or they find that maybe they're really lost and they need to seek out 10, 12, or 15 paths to transcendence. And they get very confused because instead of trusting in their inner guidance, they look to the outside for answers. They look to the outside for validation that they are doing something right in the way of contacting their higher spiritual self, in the way of transcending from the current level of consciousness to more expanded level. And this is simply not true. There is no way anyone could validate your experience because they're not having your experience. Even a very seasoned guru, one who is living at the highest level of consciousness, wouldn't really be able to tell you if your experience is valid or not valid. Only you know that. And so if you are meditating and you have a very spiritual experience during your meditation, no one will know what that experience was but you. Even if you were to explain it to somebody, they wouldn't know the intensity of what you had experienced because they weren't in your body at that time. They weren't there. I think that a lot of seekers get really lost in the sauce. They get lost in the process because they feel sometimes very insecure on their spiritual path and they don't understand really what's happening. And so many will go the route to try as many things as they can. And in the process, they tend to get way more lost, right? It's like if you had 15 maps in front of you, let's say you didn't have a GPS system, and you decided to do it the old traditional way and have maps, but maybe you have maps from 100 years ago, and then you have other maps from 50 years ago, and other maps from 25 years ago, and other maps from 2025, and you put them all together and you want to travel from Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles, California by car using all of these maps. Something's going to go wrong, because if you combine the knowledge of all these maps together, it's likely you're not going to take the most efficient route and you may well get lost. And that's what I see time and time again with a lot of spiritual seekers who are mistaking the map for the territory, meaning instead of trusting in their inner guidance and trusting that things will go according to plan on their spiritual journey, they mistrust themselves, they mistrust the process. And as a result, they stay very lost because they're just seeking so much outside of them rather than looking on the inside. And that's really why meditation is such a valuable tool, because meditation teaches you to look inward rather than outward for guidance and for answers. Now, that's not to say that you wouldn't need a spiritual teacher. Maybe you do. Maybe you need several spiritual teachers to help guide your path, to help guide your way. And that certainly was the case for me, as I've had so many fantastic spiritual teachers along the way to help guide me toward where I am today. When you realize that it really is all about transcendence, whether you're practicing Reiki, past life regression, Akashic record readings, astrology, doing tarot readings, whether you are meditating, whether you are doing yoga, tai chi, qigong, whether you're doing ayahuasca, whether you're doing psychedelics that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, whatever you happen to be doing, just know that it's not about the method. It's not about the tool. It's about the experience of transcendence. In my analogy, the tool would be the map, right? The tool would be the map, and the territory would be your own consciousness. It's what you directly experience through you experiencing a transcendent moment, a transcendent experience, moving up into higher states of consciousness. You might be wondering right now, well, Michelle, this makes sense, but it doesn't make sense because I need these tools to be able to advance and move forward. I need to do so many past life regressions and access all my past lives to understand why I'm here, what I'm doing, and how I'm moving forward. While that might be useful, remember that if you stay rooted in the process of the tool, then getting to the goal or getting to where you really want to be so that you can feel better is going to be a lot slower. It's going to be a lot slower than if you just relax into it, allow your journey to unfold before you, and maybe do one or two things that can get you toward your path a little faster. Like I said, chakra healing is great for that. Moving along the 7 main chakras, or embracing yoga philosophy as an example, or even getting more involved in your religion. Like I said, there is no wrong path, but just choosing one or two things can be a lot more helpful than trying 50,000 things. Now, while they might be fascinating, it might be fascinating to try all of these new modalities that you had never tried before. And you might be really excited to try all of these things. And if you're doing it for the sake of trying something new, just for the excitement of it, there might be value in that in and of themselves, right? Of trying these different things just because you want to have a good laugh and you want to learn something new and it just sounds like fun. That's a totally different thing than trying to get into that state of transcendence or alleviating the pain and discomfort of the spiritual awakening process and really reaching for someone else to help you do it or do it for you. Vastly different things, just so you know. It's totally different. So if you relax and allow the process to unfold, it comes so easily because you're releasing resistance. You're completely releasing resistance in that process. And as you release resistance in the process of your spiritual awakening or your ascension into higher states of consciousness, it will naturally flow in that direction because you awakened on your spiritual journey. You awakened for a reason. There's a reason why your soul decided to tap you on the shoulder and say, now is the time to wake up. Now is the time to go from tunnel vision back into funnel vision. Now is the time for you to recognize your full potential as a soul, as a spiritual being. And so since your soul actually awakened you to this process, if you take it easy, you'll awaken much faster. And picking one or two tools rather than 15, 16, or 17 different tools, it's so much more helpful. Now, finally, let's just talk about the reason why people might search for many different modalities, healing modalities, tools to awaken, tools to transcend and move beyond, why they might do this. Because if this is you, maybe it's important just to understand why you might be doing it, why you might be seeking more and more outside of yourself to see if you're doing the awakening process right, or to see if you could do it faster, or to see how someone else could precipitate the process with you. What I have often found is that the greatest discomfort for many people is sitting in silence by themselves, and with nothing else. It is a very uncomfortable place to be in if you have never done it. And a lot of spiritual awakening is just that. It is sitting with you, with yourself, with your thoughts, with your mind, with your brain, in total silence, in isolation, and figuring this out for yourself. And I feel like the more pain you're dealing with, the more intense baggage you have because of your past, it can be that much more daunting to sit in silence with yourself. And it's something I teach in my meditation class. I teach you how to overcome that. But honestly, that is the main reason people look outside of themselves, and sometimes in excess, right? Sometimes in excess, where I know clients that have like on call a shaman, an astrologer, several tarot readers, numerology readers, Akashic record readers, past life regression readers, and they have like all of these people on call, or maybe they're getting 5, 6, 7 readings a week, a month, and they're really trying to figure things out. Like I said, while there's nothing inherently wrong with that, it's just prolonging the inevitable. And what is the inevitable? The inevitable is sitting with yourself. The inevitable is sitting in silence. It is getting in touch with the blockages that may be there inhibiting you from expanding your consciousness, from transcending. The blockages that may be there that aren't allowing you to relax, to release and relax and allow yourself to transcend. There's maybe that fear of transcendence. What if I lose myself? What if I lose my identity, my personality? And that usually doesn't happen as long as you're living and breathing in this body, right? I hope this was helpful. If you've been really anxious on your spiritual journey and you've been reaching a lot outside of you to try to figure out how to navigate your spiritual awakening journey, and you found that instead of having more inner peace and tranquility, that you have less of it, that reaching and seeking outside of you is just causing you to reach and seek more and more outside of you to try to find that ultimate solution to get to the point at which you feel that you're expanding and transcending. And I'm here to tell you that all of it, it's all about transcendence. There's no right way. There is no wrong way, but the easiest way is to relax and allow yourself to transcend. And the easiest way to allow yourself to relax and transcend is through the process of meditation. Now, most of you know that I have been teaching meditation since 2009. I've been meditating since 2007. And I teach meditation online on demand. And you could start at the link below. And for this week, of course, in the United States, it's Thanksgiving and Black Friday. You can take 20% off of your cart, your entire cart, if you decide to purchase more than one course, but you can take 20% off with the promo code AWAKEN2025. That promo code is good until November 30th of 2025. So there you go. If you are interested in learning a mantra-based meditation technique, you can learn that here with me. Otherwise, I want you to have a beautiful, wonderful, and magical day. I want to thank you so much for joining me here today. Thank you for subscribing to my channel below. Click on the bell, scroll up to all for all notifications, and thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing this with others who are going through a spiritual awakening. And thank you so much for your support of my YouTube channel. You can purchase one of my 12 published books. You can join a course, check out my website, and I will see you guys in the next video.